How we doing?
Good, Manny.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Can you just comment on the seniors in your defensive backfield? I mean, just you challenge them in the spring and just what they've been able to do and how they responded to that.
We changed in essence the culture of the secondary, where we wanted to be defined by our toughness and our tackling, and the way that all of those guys have embraced that has really been as important to anything in the development of our defense, because the plays that they've made that will be the hardest to replace aren't the spectacular plays. Sometimes it's the unnoticed 8-yard gain where you don't do something right up front, the running back pops out of there, and wham, here comes the safety, get the guy on the ground, it's 2nd down and 2. And in a game like that, it's a throwaway, no one even pays attention to that. There's a lot of plays like that in college football that they become touchdowns. Mark Walton had 2 long runs running through safeties last weekend. You could argue that safety tackling was the difference in the game between the two teams. So they've understood that if you have a good tackling secondary, it's hard to score points against you. And we have not given many points this year, and I think the secondary has a lot to say in that.
Looking back, obviously the season's come to an end now, but like in the spring, did you have some question marks in your head, like we may not be good? Like did you sort of have some doubts before you saw things come together?
It's not about doubts, but you just don't know. You really don't know what you have until you get into the games. And you don't know what you have, and you really don't know what the league has. Because sometimes you're like, well, I think I have a suspicion how good we are, but I really don't know how good we will be in relation to the people that we have to play against. So if anybody said we had an idea how good we'd be, they'd be lying. You just got to get in the games and mix it up and find out. Certainly with 3 freshman linebackers, you had no idea what those guys would do.
Related to the DBs, obviously, Jaquan Johnson's had a pretty good year and got in the mix quite a lot. How do you feel about the other safeties in particular, kind of coming behind them?
You mean the younger guys, not the 2 seniors and then Jaquan? To me, it's just all about them. It's just about pushing reps. They're all guys that haven't played very much. They're sort of earning their stripes right now on special teams. So you see guys like Rob Knowles make a good tackle on a kickoff last week against NC State. Romeo Finley, just becoming more comfortable with the defense every day. We have guys that really, said right. We have guys that really should have redshirted, but because of our depth situation, they just had to get sort of pushed in there. But in the long run, that experience will help them. And obviously, we'll need some guys in the secondary to step up immediately once we hit spring practice.
Manny, having gone through the league now, what are your thoughts about the ACC now?
I think it's a very balanced league. I think it's a league where everybody can beat everybody on any given day, and you see that. You see scores. The opponent we're going to play this week beat 2 teams that we haven't beaten. Played to within a score of Louisville. So you see teams a lot of times that play their best game against best competition. I think it's a league that's won by the team that's consistently good. And I think that's one of our challenges is to try to be the same team every week and not have ups and downs. So that you can beat, because if you play poorly in this league, you'll be defeated by whoever you're playing against.
You mentioned the depth. Is this defense maybe 1 recruiting class away from having the depth you want, or maybe a couple?
It's probably 2. Realistically, because when you're still not able to redshirt and get those guys on your waiver, you just got to think. When you talk about freshmen and sophomores, it's not just the experience that they lack. It's and when you're playing against older players, how many more times has that older player been in a squat rack since they've been in college? How many more times have they been through a walkthrough? How many more times have they been through an off-season program? So, realistically, we have no choice. So no one has sympathy for us. So we have to find a way to get a signing class now of guys that are ready to contribute early, and then stack the 18 class on top of that again with guys that want to come in here and hit the ground running.
Manny, what do you think it's going to take to get to that upper echelon of ACC teams like the ones you mentioned, just to get to that next level?
Recruiting. I think that's the whole key, because I think what shows that I don't know that everybody's first 22 are all that different. I think that's why the games can be competitive. I think there's no doubt what some of the teams at the top of the league have done is that they can come at you at waves. They can maybe get through an injury situation more so than other teams. And so you got to recruit to the point where you can be consistent, have a chance to win every football game regardless of your situation.
Also, One more. Just curious, your thoughts on Mike Pinckney's season that he's had overall?
Every game he flashes. Every game he's got to play. He makes a play that is sort of outside the structure of what a normal linebacker should do. Something, a wow type play. He's learning the consistency of being an every down will linebacker. I think certainly the physicality of the season is something he's never been through before. In the grind on his body, and I think as we've come to November, he's starting to see the light in the tunnel. I think October was hard on Mike and the other freshmen as well, but he's a guy that plays fast, and it's hard for freshmen a lot of times to play fast, and he does. Once he makes a decision, he goes, and that's why I think he flashes up every game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all very much. Okay.